Good evening, palettes and mercs. Today we're going to be having a look at Mechanical Frog Battletech. Why do we love the elemental battle armor? Now, I unfortunately have very little experience with the elemental battle armor. Specifically, my experience with the battle armor as a whole comes from MechWarrior 3 Pirate's Moon, which we will be taking on at some point very shortly. I have definitely wanted to experience more MechWarrior 3. I've had issues with it in the past, mostly because it's very difficult, but at the very least, it's a fun DLC. And it brought with it a lot of different mechs, and specifically the battle suit. From what I've heard from a lot of tabletop games and a lot of veterans in the series, it's a battle suit they use more particularly to rip out pilots of other mechs, generally cause them to overheat, and other mischievous designs. So this will be interesting. I want to see a little bit more about the capabilities of the battle armor. At the end of all this, I kind of want to see if I would want to invest in a few of these personally. So grab your drinks, grab your snacks, and let's roll the film. Alrighty, why do we love the battle armor? Elemental battle
Thousands of
armor.
years, humanity sought to put distance between themselves and the act of killing, partially in the interests of self-preservation, and partially to make the act of warfare a less personal and brutal pastime. From bow and arrow to artillery and long-range missiles, it was all nothing more than a ruse to pretend that warfare wasn't the wholesale extinguishment of life. Ultimately, it always required boots on the ground and soldiers willing to get up close and finish what others had started. That's why Point Commander Orin always looked at mech warriors and aerospace pilots with a slight smirk of condescension. With all their technology, they were still removed from the consequences of their actions. This was something an elemental always understood because they were always immediate observers of the harm they brought to their enemies. Often he saw the light leave his enemy's eyes thanks to his clawed hand or laser beam. This was real warfare. This is the life of the elemental. No matter if you love the clans or hate them, for some reason there seems to be very little in between on those two extremes. The elemental has become a memorable...
I'm going to make this very clear. The clanners lost at the Battle of Turkhead. And make sure to pay your bills. Yeah, otherwise we'll have to pay you a visit.
Unit in a piece of Battletech iconography. I remember just a few years ago talking to a friend who had no experience with playing Battletech, but when I brought out the Clan Jade Falcon sourcebook, he recognized the elemental battle armor from the back cover. Still, infantry and even battle armor infantry obviously takes a backseat in a game ostensibly about gigantic mechs fighting each other. This video is intended to make an argument for considering implementing them in play if you want to spice up your tabletop battles. Though the video will focus primarily on the elemental battle armor, many of the rules and tactics can apply to other battle armor units and even standard infantry in the game. The elemental battle armor played a crucial role in the clan return to the Inner Sphere in the early 3050s. The sight of armored infantry jumping incredible distances, shrugging off small arms fire, and tearing the armor from battle mechs and vehicles played into the alien aura that permeated those earliest encounters between clan and Inner Sphere forces. The effect was reinforced by the discovery that the people inside were not just regular infantry, but genetically enhanced to be taller, stronger, and able to sustain the stresses that a life in an elemental battle armor suit had in store for them.
There is a ton of things that I could say about that picture, but you know what? I'm gonna leave it to the comments section on that one. And no, it's not going to be the MechWarrior veterans. It's going to be some of the people who are coming from the VTuber side of things who are going to be making a lot of comments on that one. I can see the comments. You can see the comments. I think we'll just let that be.
The elemental suits themselves were a technological marvel, They reflected the successful miniaturization processes that usually define a mastery of technical knowledge. During the 20th century, for example, the United States was able to miniaturize their nuclear weapons technology to the point that the Soviet Union was never able to match, and the discrepancy between their ICBM capabilities contributed to the eventual downfall of the Soviet government that just could not catch up. It's a common theme in discussions of equipment and weaponry that the clans were able to produce things that were smaller, lighter, and with greater efficiency than their IS counterparts. But being able to place an already very strong and capable warrior inside the elemental suit amplifies their abilities significantly. Running, jumping, climbing, and standing toe-to-toe with tanks and even mechs when necessary, the elemental cannot be ignored on the battlefield. Victor Ian Steiner Davion labeled the elementals toads, but this hardly does them justice. Many mech warriors have met their end by not respecting the damage potential of a point of elementals attacking from an obscured position. The basic rules for using elementals and other battle army units on the tabletop are pretty easy to handle. For firing weapons, just note that an entire squad has to fire their same weapons at the same target that turn. So for an old school elemental point of 5, all 5 elementals could fire their SRM2s and their other weapons, be it small lasers.
That's kind of crazy. So you have an entire star of elemental battle suits firing SMR2s. So you essentially have 10 missiles going off at the same time from a very mobile battle unit. That is... okay, that just became a little terrifying.
There's machine guns, flamers, or any other weapons they're deployed carrying. All standard range and line of sight rules still apply, and if the squad point of battle armor are sharing a hex with a mech, the range is considered a 1 for the attacks made on that mech. Anti-personnel weapons are considered a range 0.
That'll do some
It's
damage.
possible for a unit of battle armor to attack multiple targets. They just need to be declared and add that +1 modifier to the 2-hit roll for the second target. In this way, different weapons could be used, flamers on one target, lasers on another, for example, but each of them would have to fall under a single 2-hit roll. So 1 for the lasers, 1 for the flamer. For the non-missile attacks, after a successful 2-hit roll, the attacker rolls a 2d6 and consults the cluster hits table to determine how many of that weapon hit. So you might have all 5 of your elementals shooting your lasers, but they might not all hit. So for example, if my elemental squad fires 5 lasers and I roll an 8 on the table, that means 4 out of the 5 lasers hit their target. It's important to note that after a successful 2-hit roll, there's always going to be at least 1 successful shot no matter what. Each hit gets a separate hit location roll and damage is recorded normally. Missile shots are handled like a standard weapon attack from a mech. Just make sure to multiply the number of missiles launched by each elemental with the total number in the attack. Imagine the horror of a mech warrior of a star of elementals all fired their 2 SRMs at the same time.
Yes,
2 missiles
that's
per
exactly what I
elemental,
was thinking.
5 elementals in a point, 5 points in a star, 50 short-range missiles.
Wait, I'm sorry, what? I was thinking I was thinking 10. I was thinking 10 missiles. 50 SRM missiles going off at once. Yes, that's insane.
Not too shabby. Don't forget to mark that ammunition off in your record sheet, and those missiles aren't infinite, unfortunately. For attacks against elementals and other battle armor, a +1 is added to all 2-hit rolls to factor in the fact that they're very small and are very crafty at not being hit by those big mechs plodding around. Any successful attacks on the squad are applied to the armored soldiers randomly. Now this is notable because it's different from Warhammer 40k rules that require you to apply damage to an already damaged unit first. Something to keep in mind for you 40k refugees out there. Roll for each grouping of damage, be it missile or other. Rerolling any time damage would go to a soldier that's already dead. Damage does not transfer from one soldier to another if the hit one dies early. Each elemental or battle armored soldier can be damaged up to its armor value +1. That +1 represents that soldier's physical body, so it's possible the entire suit for the soldier could be destroyed and it would still technically be counted as functional if the soldier is still there. As far as tactics go, I've found it's best to keep elementals out of sight for as long as possible while they close in on their targets. They're going to walk at 1 hex per turn, that's just an infantry thing, but they can jump 3, so consider jumping to be your primary mode from getting from point A to point B. Once close to a target, it's open season with those SRMs and whatever weapons you use in each point. A mixture of small lasers and machine guns works like a charm to chip away at any mech's armor. Mechs that have already sustained some damage can be taken down remarkably quickly by only a couple of points of elementals in close. Some mechs have mounts for carrying battle armor into battle, when looking at those Omni mechs, and they can be an effective deployment strategy for as long as the mech.
So you could basically turn some of those Omni mechs into a APC, essentially. That's cool.
Isn't taking fire. In addition to standard weapons fire, infantry units that begin the weapon attack phase in the same hex as a mech can perform a leg attack. Picture elementals jumping up onto the legs of the mech, tearing up armor, planting explosive charges, so on and so forth. The rules for determining the success or failure, as well as how much damage is done, can be found in the Total War sourcebook. An important note here is that no matter how much damage is done in a leg attack, and even if there is still leg armor, a critical roll gets to be taken. You do not want to be in a mech that has to continually deal with leg attacks. Don't stick around if it's happening. The more dangerous move is to swarm the mech, which involves the infantry climbing higher up on the mech beyond its legs. This high-risk, high-reward attack can cause significant damage as successfully swarming infantry automatically hit the mech with their weapons fire. The swarm hit location table in Total Warfare lets you know where on the upper part of the mech damage is going to be done. The extent of that damage is equal to all of the swarming unit's arm-mounted weapons combined, and it's done in a single location on the mech. For example, a point of 4 remaining elementals in it would do 12 damage with their small lasers to whatever section they hit. Swarmed infantry can keep making attacks like this during each weapon attack phase until they are shaken off, killed by incoming fire, the target dies, or they otherwise choose to end their swarming attack. Again, the rules for all this can be found in Total Warfare. Check it out. With the upcoming Kickstarter in the spring and the arrival of official CGL plastic vehicles, that has people excited. Don't worry, elementals can tear tanks apart too. They will be in this house, I promise you. I'm excited by the possibility of adding Inner Sphere battle armor to the CGL lineup. Hopefully, they're a little higher quality than the clan elementals. Their small size really tests the limit of the detail with the current injection molding setup. I know it's unfair to compare the models that CGL is producing with big producers like Games Workshop. However, I can't help but hold out hope that someday the clan elemental box can get a refresh with a little bit better quality. If you've had luck with using elementals or other battle armor forces in your tabletop games, I'd love to hear all about it in the comments below. If you've been the unwilling participant in a swarming attack of elementals, I'd be keen on hearing that as well. Thanks to those who have helped me rapidly approach the 3,000 subscriber mark as we close out 2022. My original goal a few months ago was to hit 2,000, so every bit of this feels amazing. I really appreciate the support. Take care, and go make the world a slightly better place today and tomorrow.
So I have experimented with the battle armors a little bit. Not exactly with a mech, but more against the other battle suits, just trying to get a feel for their attack style, their rules, that sort of thing. Like in this in the Mag Attack program as well. I would say that the elemental battle suits are very terrifying, and I'm again not so much like I think these suits are very terrifying. I would love to add some to my arsenal. More off the point, I would love to have some sort of campaign going on for I'm struggling to trying to pronounce words today. Mega Mech. The idea is I kind of want it to be more like an Inner Sphere campaign, or like or more like a, I don't know. I kind of want to do what I'm doing at Mech Warrior 5 Mercenaries and have it somewhat the same in Mega Mech, but I'm not sure if that's how that works. So I'm looking more into that, trying to see what I can do on that front. I'm still learning how to play the game as well, so be that as it may, I still appreciate some of these videos, trying to point out some of the rules on these and the very terrifying battle armors that are here. But again, if you want to go and support this video, if you want to go and support the video, the links will be in the description. I'm looking forward to testing out some of these later on. But yeah, as always, this has been Call Sign Annika, signing out.
And go make the